Thank you, Samosa Caucus, for joining the podcast once again. I didn't know it's 6.0, this one. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, Anand,
ये तो
Sushant,
पाकिस्तानी
Tehseen.
पिकअप कर लेंगे 6-0.
Abhijit. हाँ, ये 6 रफाल नहीं है. ये 6
बवाल है.
6 J-10 भी नहीं है.
ये 6 एयर बेसेस है.
6 airbases.
The reality is we lost 72 Rafales that day.
All of them. Plus the ones which we had to buy also.
See, you know, the Pakistani strikes were so
72
advanced. They went through a time-space portal and they rocked up in France at the Saint-Nazaire factory and hit
the future Rafales.
Yeah.
So they future traveled and they did it.
Yeah.
Through a wormhole.
ये podcast Pakistanis are not watching. वो
so
ban
sad.
हो गया है. So
नहीं, they will all watch. They are
VPN
suckers
लगा
for
के-
punishment. वो देखेंगे जरूर.
VPN लगा के.
Anything about 72 they enjoy. Whether it's
हम लोग इसकी क्लिप काट के उनको भेजेंगे.
72 Rafales or Hoods.
The number remains.
अच्छा अगर हम लोग इसके क्लिप काट के भेजेंगे तो तुम्हारा हम वो तो नहीं वायलेट करेंगे.
हाँ.
Smita, will you be extorting me?
Yes.
Smita, are you going to extort me?
हाँ, unless you make a video and use.
I hate you. मेरा पैसा वापस दे. मेरा अभी तक तूने मेरा टाइम एक्सटॉर्ट किया है
ये
और मेरा
serious-
पैसा नहीं लिया. मेरे को एक भी पैसा नहीं दिया तुमने. बस डायरी दे के मेरे को छिड़क दिया बाहर.
Water bottle.
But
before we carry on,
This was supposed to be a serious podcast, killer.
I have to ask this.
हाँ,
पहले
okay.
ये इन तीनों में से डिसाइड कर लो कि लंबी रेस का घोड़ा कौन है, लंगड़ा कौन है और तीसरा कौन है, शादी वाला घोड़ा कौन है. इन तीनों में से.
सारे टॉपिक्स अभी डिस्कस कर दिया. एक
नहीं,
छिड़क
before we
के.
start.
हाँ.
Okay.
आप कौन सी लंबी रेस के हो या शादी के हो?
शादी वाले में तो दूल्हा बैठ जाएगा.
तो तहसीन है फिर. बारात का घोड़ा तहसीन.
हाँ, ये रेस का घोड़ा है.
अच्छा ये रेस का. Okay.
He's the fittest of the lot, so he's रेस का घोड़ा.
तू
ये शादी
ये
का.
घोड़ी है.
अच्छा ये शादी की घोड़ी.
मैं वो लंगड़ा घोड़ा हूँ जो दखलंदाज नहीं करता है. मैं लंगड़ा घोड़ा हूँ. आई एम एंजॉयिंग माय
बस चने खाता रहता
ये
है साइड
घोड़ा
पर.
वाला क्या चक्कर है भाई?
ये
राहुल
राहुल
गांधी
गांधी का जो कांग्रेस के घोड़े जो है.
Oh, अच्छा, this is the profound.
Actually, it's not his line. It's Kamal Nath who said that.
Confucius said.
That there are different kinds of horses that we use in. Actually, yeah, it goes back. It's not even Kamal Nath's originally, but he said कि कई सारे घोड़े हैं and कांग्रेस की
यहाँ पे भी
खासियत
Chinese ले
है
लिया.
कि हम पहले हम बारात वाला घोड़ा रेस में लगाते हैं, रेस वाला घोड़ा बारात में लगाते हैं. So then Rahul Gandhi explained that it's time to set the.
एक तीसरा घोड़ा आ
He
गया.
added a
And
third
then he said
category.
a
There is
lame-
langda,
Rahul Gandhi
lame-
कौन सा वाला
lame
घोड़ा है?
horses.
So-
But there was a threat to it.
लंबी
He
रेस
said,
का
you
घोड़ा
know
है.
what happens to lame horses.
अच्छा but
You know what happens to a lame horse when in a horse race when a
But
horse
he didn't
breaks down?
explain what happens.
They are shot on the spot.
हाँ तो ठीक है. वो तो
through the
फासिज्म हो
brain.
गया.
Okay.
But no, but tell me something. राहुल गांधी कौन सी रेस का घोड़ा है?
लंबी रेस का घोड़ा है.
वो
पता है कितने
रेस
साल
कभी
हो
खत्म
गए?
होगी?
नहीं, whatever it's.
Rahul
Hey,
Gandhi
Sushant,
is
you know
the-
nothing. Yeah, I'm telling you, Rahul Gandhi is going to become the next Prime Minister of India.
Okay.
you
Guys,
please-
before
अब
we
मैं कुछ
get
बोल नहीं
into
सकता.
politics, पहले मेरे को I want to sort out this one
हाँ,
issue.
तुम्हारे जो-
एक बार वो खत्म हो
तुम्हारी
जाएगा.
एक्सटॉर्शन वाला.
अच्छा, सीरियसली बात करिए. मेरे को हंसाना नहीं है इसमें. बहुत सीरियस वाला केस है.
Whenever
I mean,
you're
we've
serious
gone
about
to
anything.
we've gone to court and all that over it.
My God.
हाँ, and I have Sidhant who's on this segment only. He can't take you guys after this one segment, so we have Sidhant from Unam Law on the.
Hi, Sidhant. Welcome to the Samosa
Hi,
Caucus.
hi Sidhant.
Siddhant, why are you looking so pained?
Yeah. He's saying इनको तो ए ना इनको डिफेंड कर लूंगा.
प्लीज
इन तीनों को कैसे
रिस्पेक्ट.
करूं?
ये हमारे स्टैंडिंग काउंसिल हैं. इनको रिस्पेक्टफुली सिद्धांत जी करके बोलेंगे हम. ठीक है. So, hi Siddhant, welcome.
अरे सिद्धांत जी.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about this copyright thing. So there's been so much of bawal on YouTube and on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram. Lot of hate coming our way that I'm an extortionist, and you saw the drama that Abhijit just did. But this is exactly what people want to do: throttle me, and they're going after ANI that we are extortionists or whatever. Just to set the record straight, that this is not an extortion. It's a business model that ANI has, that we cover news. We have a B2B with several channels with in India and abroad. We cover news. They subscribe to the ANI news feed service. It goes on all the channels. And what has happened is that there are all the top YouTubers in this country subscribe to ANI. They take the ANI service, use it. I don't want to name them because there's no point, I think, going through our client list. People subscribe to ANI. Now, there are some YouTubers who've been taking multiple content from ANI and using it and monetizing it, right? Now, if it's not a one-time mistake that has happened, which is again a misnomer that people have, that एक ही तो बार use किया है, 2 second ही तो use किया है. That's not the case. We have the proof that it was multiple usages that they did, and it's been happening over years. It's not a one-time thing that they did and we went after them. And our reporters spend hours on collecting this information, collecting news from the sites, putting it together, editing it, putting it out there. So it's not freaka content which you can pick up. So one more thing, just before I open it out to all of you guys, those who are not interested in this segment, we put out the chapters for you guys, so you can just fast forward and go to that segment and drop this segment if you're not interested in that.
So now my
this-
question.
this segment-
One
one
second.
second.
मेरे एक मिनट.
One by one.
Are you a public service organization or a private organization?
We are a private organization.
You're a private organization which spends its own resources to collect news, and then you sell that news to earn revenue. Am I right?
Yes.
But I'm probably dumbing it down. But
No, that's fine.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. So what part of it, if supposing I make a movie and somebody starts taking clips out of that movie,
Or IPL.
or IPL, for
for that
example,
matter.
if I use a VPN and I go on the BCCI site, I can't watch most of their clips which they put on Twitter or on Facebook or on YouTube or anywhere else because the copyright thing kicks in. So if it applies to them, why should it not apply to you?
Okay, why not? I'll have
I think
Sidhant explain this.
I just want to come in there. I think the argument that's made against ANI in this context is that it prevents the dissemination of news and news event reporting. And to that, the clear answer is that if you accept that argument, no non-fiction, historical, or current events content creation will ever happen because you will never be able to get paid for it. So by its very nature, all news organizations report on news events and historical events. If you're going to prevent them from enforcing their copyright and receiving fair remuneration for that, news creation and news content creation will completely finish. Now, ANI is an organization that has an extensive network of bureaus, which has extensive expenditure. It requires a lot of effort of a large number of people as well as the institution itself. But if ANI is unable to charge fair subscription fee, and it's a Wild West situation where anybody can copy anybody's content without paying for it, really speaking, what you're doing is you're going to disincentivize content creation or news per se on that end as well. So the argument cuts really both ways. So the argument against us is in fact the strongest argument for us. That if the public needs news, it has to be provided for and paid for.
So one second, let me just either Sidhant or Smita jump in here. The argument then against you is, listen, you guys have exclusivity, as a result of which, where else does somebody take the content from? That is one major argument that is being made on social media, where even I was
there's no exclusivity. The exclusivity is that ANI is making the effort, having the cameraman everywhere, having their resources deployed. It is the largest number of bureaus, according to me, and Smita, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It has the largest number of bureaus of any news organization in India.
But Sidhant, let me play the devil's advocate. For example, in a swearing in, in a swearing in of a deputy chief minister in my state, ANI was the only news agency there. Now, I agree that you have the resources, but because they were the only guys, then how do you cover that?
So nobody is saying that you cannot discuss the deputy chief minister swearing in as a news event. Anybody can discuss it. But you cannot copy a video taken on an ANI camera by an ANI cameraman, paid for by ANI, without a license.
Okay, can I come on this specific issue that you're talking about? On Ajit Pawar's first swearing in, that happened. That is what you're talking about. Before I come to that, let me just say that there was also this controversy.
For the Congress or for the BJP?
BJP, the earlier one.
4 AM one.
Before. So I'll come to that one. First, let me come to the immediate one. All these delegations have gone abroad, right? They're carrying India's message to various countries. Now, this whole thing was, why is only ANI mic out there? Now, well-known journalists have also said, why only ANI is gone? Why is there no this? It was available. Anybody could go there. We knew that these delegations are going. Everybody knew. All channels knew. Now the channels subscribe to ANI. Sending crews with all these delegations will cause multiple crores to send them for a channel, because they have a reporter to send, they have a cameraman to send, they have hotel costs, they have camera costs, they have airline costs. They're already going to get it from ANI. Because they subscribe to us, so for
Bear the
us,
cost.
it is buttressed. That cost is buttressed because they are subscribers. So we owe it to them to give it. Now, why didn't another channel go? Why didn't another agency go? Why didn't state broadcaster go? That's their issue, not my issue. The government was told everybody.
So it's
that,
like when the Prime Minister
So-
goes, they also send their
so
bureaus,
they send,
you also send.
So they send.
In this case, they
so
did.
we send extra. We send a reporter who goes in advance so that we get the vox pops and stuff like that. Now, when they send their reporter, they need to send only one person who's their reporter. The other visuals are done by us. Now, let me come to your point about certain exclusive things. Ajit Pawar swearing in that you're talking about. We didn't order a strike on that.
Oh.
Anybody could pick it up. We didn't order a strike on those visuals. What did we order a strike on? When it is absolutely certain that this angle, I'll just give you, there are some YouTubers who said, 2 second ka hi to short hai, 5 second ka hi to short hai. These were used. 2 second ka short means a lot. For example, I'll give you one example of the attempt on Rajiv Gandhi's life in Sri Lanka. Right? Now, ANI's chairman, he was there on location. So were other cameramen. At that point, what had happened was that all the cameramen had boarded the aircraft because the Prime Minister was supposed to board. So usually what happens is that you take the shot of the two Prime Ministers or the Prime Minister and the President on the podium, taking the salute, and then the cameramen and all board. Everybody boarded. The only person who was left out there was the Sri Lankan television guy and the ANI chairman, who was then working as a cameraman at that position. So he followed the guard of honor which was happening, right? You follow a guard of honor where the Prime Minister is taking the guard of honor, and then the Sri Lankan soldier picked up his bayonet to hit Rajiv Gandhi. That was caught only by 2 camera persons, which was ANI and the Sri Lankan television guy. 2 different angles. Because one was following from the side, one was following from the front. We followed from the front.
Correct.
So we got that angle, right? Now, I'm going a little bit into detail so that people understand. Now, this is an exclusive shot.
Correct.
When we got the shot and we boarded the aircraft, ANI boarded the aircraft, he had the visual with him. And he said, there's been an attempt on Prime Minister's life. The media advisor to the Prime Minister said, you're lying. That's not happened. There was no attack on Prime Minister. So he said, I have the visual. So he said, he went to the Prime Minister's cabin and he told the Prime Minister, Rajiv Gandhi was Prime Minister then, he told the Prime Minister that, was there an attempt on your life? So he said, why do you say that?
The media advisor didn't know.
The media advisor didn't know. They had all
Everybody was
boarded.
inside. This is
Everybody had boarded. So he said, why are you saying that? Now, some discussion happened out there where they wanted to deny that there was an attack on the Prime Minister. So he says, but the man says that he has the tape. He has it on tape that there was an attempt on your life. So he said, show me the tape. So the media advisor came to the section where the media sits. Everybody was there. All cameramen and all were there. Look at the solidarity of the media at that time. They were a little worried. Should we give the tape or not? They gave the tape to the media advisor. I'm not taking names. They gave the tape to the media advisor. He took it. It was played for Rajiv Gandhi. Rajiv Gandhi looked at it and he told the media advisor, we cannot deny this. It's happened.
But that's gracious of him as well.
He's gracious. That when the video is there, it's gracious. So the media advisor came back and said, yes, there's been an attempt, but we are not giving back the tape to you. I'm digressing a little bit. I'm just saying to you, look at the trouble that ANI takes for its visuals, right? He said, that's my copyright visual. You cannot take it. He says, no, this is an attempt on Prime Minister's life. It's a security issue, so we need the tape. He says, I will give you a dub when I reach Delhi, but it's my tape. Give it to me back. He refused. You know what the other cameramen did? They all sat on the aisle.
Wow.
They sat on the aisle and said, give the tape back to the cameraman. The tape was given back to the cameraman, which is the chairman of ANI. risking our goodwill with the government of India at that stage.
And a powerful Prime Minister.
Powerful Prime Minister. The Prime Minister could have said that, look, when we get to Delhi, ANI will no longer fly with the Prime Minister. Nothing of that sort happened. Gracious of Rajiv Gandhi, he called Mr. Prem Prakash, he called him and he said that what you have, we cannot deny now anymore. Maybe there was some talk. Sri Lanka released the visuals. We released the visuals. There was another attempt on Rajiv Gandhi at Rajghat.
Correct.
Again, it was chance ki baat thi that our cameraman was near the tree where that man was sitting on top of the tree with one katta, which he was going to shoot. The Delhi Police Commissioner said, tape nikal, mereko tape de. Right? Cameraman ko, again, I'm not naming, but he said, give me the tape. You know what our cameraman did? He pretended he's taking the tape out of the camera. There were no chips. Now it's a chip. He pretended he's taking the tape out of the camera. He gave him the fake tape. He kept the real tape. We had the shot. When they went back and they said, you've given us the wrong tape. This is not the tape of the assassination attempt. By which time we had made a copy of the assassination attempt. We said, now you can take it. For your purposes, we can take it. Tell us whether we can air this or not. Is there, crowd management that you need to do, putting this tape out of it? Would it risk anybody's security situation? They said, no, you can put it out.
So, Smita ji, what you're
So
saying
now
is,
what I'm saying is that we are... Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to come in there. So it's not just the economic cost. ANI and its employees, its camera persons, journalists, at tremendous personal costs collect the news to make it available. And today, only because news channels across the board may rely on ANI as a news agency or other news agencies to be there in remote locations and not duplicate costs and resources and send their people separately, can't be held against ANI. And because ANI has made the effort, invested the funds to be there at every remote location, whether it's the defense minister at Pokhran or elsewhere. And as far as the length of the video is concerned, it's really immaterial. The law clearly provides that even one still is in itself enough to show infringement of copyright in a video. So that doesn't matter. And then a news event, for example, where Rajiv Gandhi was hit with that bayonet, the event, it was a few seconds long. It wasn't a particularly long video. We're not talking about a documentary film on the issue, but the event per se, that video which has the great copyright value in it, and which was obtained by Mr. Prem Prakash at great personal sacrifice, is very short. So to say it's only a few seconds, maybe it's a few seconds of the infringing video, but of the original is the central part.
Okay, but then...
see the Atik shot. That's another one for which these guys...
got the angle.
We got the angle. There were the other cameramen also, but that was a fraction of a second where the bullet goes and hits him.
Yeah. But just let me ask one last thing before this thing. So why can't you then, like other people, other organizations that are in association with YouTube or work with YouTube, have a revenue sharing model with these people? Just a suggestion out there.
Okay, so on
sorry, Smita, I just want to come there. A revenue sharing model with these people. I am not subject to a public license. I have no mandatory license. It is my content, and you must subscribe to me on my terms. And those terms are set out and equal for everybody. Whether you're a news channel or a YouTube creator, and there are several people that I have gotten to the licensing terms with, which work for me for various reasons, which enable me to get the content that I need to get. So there can't be a state intervention today in a collectivist scheme to say in a Soviet fashion that I must mandatorily share.
No, you're misunderstanding me. I'm not
with
saying
YouTube
Soviet.
you're talking
about.
With
YouTube. You're misunderstanding. I'm not talking about a state intervention at all. I'm capitalist. I'm very scared of state intervention.
YouTube has taken a backseat to say that it's an intermediary. It will own wherever the matter is contested, where a particular creator says that this is not copyright infringement. YouTube takes a step back, and it is the obligation of the copyright holder, in this case ANI, to go to court. So
have you discussed with YouTube?
Yeah. So yes.
And YouTube therefore is an intermediary, and you don't want in a free society a private organization to moderate speech in this way. So quite apart from that, what is ANI done? ANI has gone to court to enforce its copyright. It will either be accepted or rejected. these claims of extortion and other colorful names really have no meaning. We are in a society of rule of law. If somebody is aggrieved, feels their rights have been infringed, you go to court. Equally, a defendant will be have his right to his defense. So does every party in court or every legal profession doesn't become an extortionist?
Okay.
And what happened?
So yeah, we did go to YouTube. You're right. We did go to YouTube. In 2023, we went to YouTube. Two parts. One is the state intervention part,
Which
is
I'm
also
against.
which is also no, you are against, but there are people who have said that in certain cases it is state intervention is required. That's why everybody tagged Modi and Amit Shah
That
and
is to
everybody.
form a policy.
Yeah. So let's come to that. So first, let me come to the YouTube part, which is the intermediary, as Sidhant just said. Now, in 2023, we had requested, ANI had requested YouTube that, let's have a revenue sharing model. If somebody is taking visuals from us, we should have a revenue sharing. There are people who have done that.
Correct.
Now, for us, what happened was YouTube said, no, we don't qualify for whatever reason. They are the owners of the platform. We cannot tell them how to do their model. If they say that we can't, then we use the tools which is available to us.
The procedure is this: if I feel that a video on YouTube is infringing of my copyright, I make a strike. I write to YouTube to say that this is infringing my copyright. The person who has uploaded will have a chance to give a justification. If that person doesn't accept that this is a copyright infringement and says that I have justification to use it, or I have a license, or it is a different video altogether, it could be either or. Then YouTube will not take sides or decide anything. It is upon me as a copyright holder to go to court and obtain an order to say that this is infringing or not. So really speaking, it's a very fair system that relies upon the court system to decide.
So these are the tools which YouTube gives us. ANI has just used the tools because agar hum nahi kar sakte, acha, then there's this whole thing about state should intervene, that state should formulate a policy. State has nothing to do with it. It's YouTube, ANI, and somebody who's misusing ANI footage on YouTube, who's monetizing without paying us for ANI content. Now this thing is 10 lakh मांग रहे हैं, 2 second के लिए 45 lakhs मांग रहे हैं. No, that's not what we have done. People are misrepresenting in this. There are multiple usages of ANI content which they have done. This is a misrepresentation
So
to
it's
say.
repeated infractions and the
Over
charge.
years.
So the charge essentially, the 48 lakhs is not the subscription, because the subscription, as I understand it from what they said on all their accusatory videos, was quite cheap.
Yeah.
It is the penalties for all the past infractions.
Past infringement. So,
In which you've then been gracious and said, listen, for the penalties, we'll give you a license as well.
Even those penalties. If I, for example, as a private party say that person A has infringed my copyright, I have suffered damages of 100 crores. I will have to prove that in court. And a judge will have to go through and see how, I'll have to provide proof of that damage, and I will be provided a decree of 100 crores or damages in whatever redress that the court finds fair. So for me for someone to paint this out as something else is completely misconceived. So what we are seeking is a series of, there was nothing preventing the YouTube creators in question to refuse. If they feel that this penalty or damages is not fair, then don't consent. We'll go to court, fight it out, see what the court finds fair.
So
that happens in every commercial dispute.
I made a few points here. I don't think our viewers will understand vox pop. You see, you don't speak Latin, I do. So vox pop is, the popular opinion on the street for all you not
Commoners,
plebeians. The second is, she said this segment, if you don't want to watch this segment, you can walk forward. This segment is called ANI ka extortion. Extortionist. So you can go from ANI ka extortion to the next one. The third point I wanted to make is, I don't have a YouTube channel, but the time is irrelevant. So, for example, when I tried to throttle you on behalf of my YouTuber brothers and sisters, it was just 5 seconds. So, if they report it saying, बवाल हुआ, अभिजीत ने स्मिता का कत्ल करने की कोशिश की, those 5 seconds, even if it was 3 seconds, it is the most relevant part, right? That is still a copyright because it's ANI exclusive, no? So, tell me if I've got this all right so far.
Yeah, so far right.
And the thing is, I don't understand why these people want to foist their business model onto you. Because I heard, now Sidhant clarified this.
They want their business model without any cost.
One second. They want their business model without any cost. there are all these instances of weddings being, sponsored by and featured in Sabyasachi and Mango Tree and God knows what not kind of thing happening right now. But the scale would make a difference, right? A 5-star hotel is going to cost more because the scale of it, the cost of air conditioning the lobby, of having more staff
I
and
don't
things
want
are
to.
more.
See, it's not villainizing of YouTubers. It's like कोई गरीब YouTuber है या अमीर YouTuber है. It's not my concern.
It's
right?
my concern.
So, for
because
example,
they're pretending to be, listen, my issue here is they're pretending to be Garib when in fact they don't want to disclose their revenue from it.
It's not
Garib
that.
or Amir, na?
No,
Bottom
what they're
line
saying is that
if you steal, it doesn't matter. If a rich guy steals and if a poor guy steals, you still pay the same price. Full stop. It's that simple, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
But their argument is, मैं गरीब हूँ और आप
नहीं तो गरीब हो तो ये काम मत करो ना, कुछ और काम कर लो यार.
So what I'm saying is that if you're a content creator, you're spending money on getting a camera, you're getting into the business of YouTube news, right? You're doing news, you're getting into the business of that. If you're a travelogue guy, you're going out, you're spending on ticketing, you're doing all this, find out the rules of the game. Right? You have to find out what are the laws, what are the rules. You don't just get into something.
So what
like
you're
that.
saying is, for example, if I'm covering food, I can't. Sorry, Sidhant. So if I'm covering food, I'm a YouTuber doing food. I can't enter just a kitchen because I'm a YouTuber. I will ask the chef, take permission, see what the rules are, maintain
You enter the kitchen without permission, they'll throw you out.
Yeah. So just as there are rules everywhere.
Ek minute, Sidhant wants to come in and then Anand also.
Anand is collecting all the.
Anand will come with the Brahmos in the end.
There's an argument made of free speech that these are news events and ANI can't have a monopoly over free speech. But that's again completely out of whack. What ANI is doing is there are videos of news events that it's claimed exclusivity or copyright to, which requires permission, licenses, and payment. It is not copywriting any news event. For example, the attempt on Rajiv Gandhi's life was an extensively talked about news event, and it can be talked about. But the video of that particular news event taken by Mr. Prem Prakash is ANI's property. It is exclusively.
Sidhant, can I ask a question? Can I ask him a question? Can I ask him a question?
Ek second on that video. What we did was that because of the news value of it, and at that time we didn't have private television channels, so that video was given to Doordarshan, and subsequently Doordarshan gave it out to whoever wanted to use it. Not that there were private television channels then or YouTube then. But
No, so
go ahead.
my question to Sidhant.
Yeah, Atik,
एक मिनट, Sidhant, मेरा एक सवाल है. You said that the case that some of these people are making out is that because there is a certain news value to it, they should be allowed to. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which means that supposing New York Times or Washington Post was to come out with some exclusive news, and I was to start reproducing that news and say, well, this is news value, so I can produce this news. I can't, na?
You can't.
I have to pay them. I have to take permission from them, or I have to
Or
pay
you
them.
go through the risk.
Or I go through the risk.
Yeah,
right?
that you might be struck down.
So how come it is kosher to do it with New York Times, but it's not kosher to do it with you?
You can describe what the New York Times said. You can paraphrase it, but you can't use any of the stuff. You can't reproduce sections.
Exactly.
But what is most surprising in all of this? Sorry, 1 second, Sidhant. What is the most surprising thing in all of this is the amazing fact that so-called award-winning journalists who comment on everything under the sun neither know IPR, nor do they know Indian law.
I've lived in a journalist colony. I know what journalists
You
are.
yourself were a journalist at one point.
So I know now.
ये है हालत इस देश में
Yeah, you
journalism
need to
की.
know IPR laws. Yeah, Sidhant, you have something to say?
During COVID, there were a large number of newspapers that were being shared for free on WhatsApp in a PDF format. Every newspaper worth its salt in this country went to court. To protect that, to prevent that, these Telegram channels that were sharing international and national newspapers for free on in WhatsApp and Telegram went to court. None of them were called extortion.
Okay, I'm going to go to Anand and then.
Why should the newspaper be different from any production that ANI makes?
Yeah. Anand, you have something to say and then I'll go to the next topic.
Yeah, 2-3 things to say. Number one, I'm afraid, and this is criticism of you and ANI, you have fallen into the trap, hook, line and sinker. You've dumbed down. You want me to explain why?
Okay.
Because it is embarrassing
हम
to
ना भी
even...
बोलेंगे तो तू explain करेगा.
No, Anand, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to listen to you. I refuse to listen to you.
It is embarrassing to even discuss this. Because what it tells is, we are living in an age where people who are wholly ignorant of law, the way law works, we are having to explain to them, sir, madam, no, this is the way law works. अब मतलब what more can I say? It is किसी भी 15-20 साल के लड़के ने जो कि अगले 40 साल तक YouTube वीडियोस बनाएगा, उसने उठा के कुछ कह दिया कि भाई हिम्मत कैसे हो गई ये करने की वो करे. He may be ignorant of the law, but how can like thousands of people, many of them journalists, many of them your colleagues, ex, past, whatever, be ignorant of the law?
Yeah.
Number one. So पहली बात तो we have fallen into that trap, and I'm not. It is your criticism. It is criticism of the era we live in, that you would have to spend half an hour to explain. God damn it, this is the law of the country, right? If it is your property, it is your either goodwill gesture or going by the law that dictates whether you're going to give it away for free, allow it for free, or charge something. That's the law. If you don't agree with the law, go to the court. Number one. Number two.
Or win an election and change it.
भाई देखिए हिंदुस्तान है, हर
अच्छा,
चीज
let him
को
complete.
हर बंदे को मुफ्त का चाहिए, समझ रहे हैं ना?
है, but यार, it's like we're dumbing down to explain that, no?
Yeah.
Point is, we spent the last half an hour when we shouldn't have. We should have discussed a lot of great things about Abhijit's impending wedding, like जो उनकी बंगाली friend की हो गई है जर्मनी में जाके, वो सब, हाँ. अब discuss कर रहे हैं हम ये. But number two, fair use, I agree with fair use, right? But now let me go in a little bit more detail. फेयर यूज़ का क्या मतलब है? आजकल हम ऑडियो विजुअल उसमें जीते हैं. 100 साल पहले तो नहीं है, किसी ने रिपोर्ट करके या ट्वीट पे भी लिख दिया वीडियो विजुअल नहीं है. सो पीपल आर दे गेट मोर अपील्ड बाय द विजुअल्स. सो येस, देयर शुड बी अ फेयर यूज़ पॉलिसी, बट इट्स नॉट अप टू यू टू. In fact, it could be up to you to dictate it as ANI as an organization, but it's not an hard and fast rule. The platform may dictate it, or somebody from whom you've got that visual can dictate it. Okay. Now let me give you an example. You have these celebrity weddings, right? Beckham की wedding हुई थी. They charged Hello magazine for exclusive visuals for £3 million, right? It wasn't free for everything.
Michael Douglas.
Okay, Michael Douglas.
Catherine Zeta-Jones के साथ शादी
Yeah,
की.
हर कोई मतलब हर
I
कोई.
think Virat also, they don't allow cameras inside. You
These
don't
days they've learned that is also a new money making.
मेरी शादी में मैं ही था जो ड्राइव करके गया था. अरे सुशांत पाजी की शादी में भी आपने किसी को चार्ज नहीं किया था ना, कवर करने के लिए आपकी शादी को.
नहीं, ऐसी गलती दूसरों को थोड़ा बता.
कैमरामैन को हायर किया तो वो भी भाग गया था.
But listen, for my
But let
wedding,
me finish.
for my
For your wedding, I'll have exclusive
I
contract.
will give ANI exclusive,
अरे वाह.
and you will only pay me 10 crores to cover my
अरे
wedding.
बाप.
Okay.
हाँ, but now let me finish. ठीक है ना?
Fair use पे
Dr. Ranganathan, on fair use, one thing. Fair use is provided by law. The fair use principle is that you can report and write about a news event. There is no copyright on a news event. Fair use is not to copy my creative expression of that news event. If I describe a historical event either in a video or in writing, nobody has a right to copy that expression. While they have a right to write their own.
Unless you give it away out of your own free will or good gesture.
Which
so
they
you
do.
can say.
Which they do in
Exactly.
terms of official
So now let me say the other thing. अब ये ने गवर्नमेंट का कवर कर रहे हो, ये न्यूज़ वर्दी है. अरे भाई, ये गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर भी है. Supposing tomorrow Modi holds a press conference, right, the first in 11 years. इसमें nudge nudge wink wink. Now the thing is, he can say
Really?
that I will charge anybody who covers this press conference. He can say it. If he doesn't say it and you go there, how is it that people can demand कि नहीं भाई ये न्यूज़ वर्दी इवेंट था, हम ANI का चुराएंगे? नहीं. और जैसे आपने कहा, अभी ये जो ग्रुप्स गए हैं और कंट्रीज में, it wasn't your exclusive thing.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't just given to you. Anybody could have covered it.
So, and some of them went to DC, Washington DC,
Right.
London. They didn't want to go to Sierra Leone.
And
It's
my
their-
good friend Milind Diora held your mic और उस पे बवाल मचा दिया किसी ने कि ये ANI का देखो आजकल.
And listen, that one, that is Ayushi. Ayushi is probably the best foreign policy reporter we have at the moment, because you will not see her face anywhere. She is all driven by the story. She came with me to Israel in, I think last year, it was 2024. people don't realize the kind of expenditure that happens out there. And Israel is insanely expensive. She was taking taxis going everywhere. She would tell us, you go ahead, I have to do interviews and things. She'd set up the camera herself, doing everything by herself. Boss, there's a cost involved to it. People think, ki I will. Do you ever go to a hotel and say, no, you can't charge me 15,000 rupees a night? I will tell you what is fair for you to charge.
I
You
just
can
want to
bargain,
finish.
but
I
you
just-
can't,
you
you
can
can bargain.
You can bargain,
finish
but you
and
can't
then we
dictate.
come.
Bargaining is not extortion.
Yeah.
So, a fellow who doesn't understand the basics of English shouldn't be running a YouTube channel explainers.
But thank you for bringing up the million thing. That's very important. If you may continue.
Yeah, but I
the
just want to,
million thing.
ये fair use वाली क्या policy है? अब जैसे मैंने कई जगह podcast पे मैं बुलाया जाता हूँ. अभी रौनक ने podcast करी, एक हफ्ते में 1 million views हो गए उसके. I wasn't paid for it, which is fair enough. रणबीर अलाहाबादिया है, ठीक है? He called me. His podcast of me lasting 2 hours is like 3 million views or something like that. I wasn't paid for it. Goodwill है, ठीक है, उसने किया. Now, people have taken clips of it. He has taken clip. That is goodwill.
Yeah.
He has not shared the monetary thing. ऐसे ही कोई यूट्यूबर आप किसी को कवर कर रहे हैं, आप उससे रेवेन्यू शेयर नहीं कर रहे, उल्टा जिसका आप क्लिप चुरा रहे हैं उसको डांट रहे हैं. That's what I'm saying. We have
So we have this.
So we have lost, Smita.
So Smita ji, from what I understand, what you're trying to say is, if I'm a YouTuber and I come to you pre everything and I make a deal, it's obviously something that you guys accommodate.
It's not a deal, yeah.
No. There is.
It's
It
No,
is a
pre
subscription.
everything means what? What does pre everything
A
mean?
before the strikes, before when I use your content, I come to you and say,
Post
look,
hoc and pre.
Basically, you are starting a YouTube
I'm starting
channel
a YouTube
and you say
channel.
that you
I'm
want
a
to-
man. I'm starting a YouTube channel,
And you want their
and I
content.
would like to take your content.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that work out different from a post?
So here it is. Now let me just give you an example. Suppose you enter a Nike showroom or Lacoste showroom or whatever, since he's wearing Lacoste. So you enter a showroom and you say that, मैं belt लेना चाहता हूँ, and then you look and you see an Arab sheikh who's buying 4 t-shirts.
खादी ग्राम उद्योग.
And then you turn around and say कि वो 4 शर्ट ले रहा है ना, मेरे को ये फ्री में दे दो बेल्ट. ऐसे तो नहीं होता ना, right? What is the price on the belt and the price on the t-shirts are all separate.
Exactly.
Now similarly, ANI का पूरा bouquet है. You take what you want, how much you want, but you have to pay. You can't turn around and say that Times Now, NDTV and the others, you make your business model with them. Why make a business model with me? I'm only a YouTuber.
Vidaji, I just want to come in here. Ultimately, whenever a person other than a copyright holder uses copyrighted content, it is based on consent, either a license or an assignment in terms of an agreement, a commercial understanding, or an understanding nonetheless. There's nothing bad with having commercial understanding. Ultimately, it is the commerce that is going to generate further content. It's not going to be love and fresh air. So ultimately, it's about that. So when a person comes and obtains the license pre, obviously he is doing that and respecting our copyright and agreeing to certain terms that we negotiate and finally decide on. But when a person without a consent uses copyrighted content, he is to be proceeded against for an injunction, as well as the damages I suffer and the unjust enrichment he gets as a result of my work.
2 videos, then a third is out, or sometimes the videos are linked and then it's one strike.
So there are. You want to go ahead?
I want to explain this. There is no such thing as 3 strikes, you're out. YouTube as an intermediary. The YouTube as an intermediary says that if somebody contests the position that this is not copyright infringement, then the matter must go to court and I have to obtain an order of a court to either take down the channel or take down individual videos. Neither ANI nor YouTube has arrogated the power of itself to a court to do this on their own. That merely on my saying 3 videos are infringing, the channel goes. That's not how it works.
One last point, and Sidhant, this is a question for you. I think
Samosa caucus should not become a legal liability caucus.
something important I wanted to ask, because I think I sent you the video, which was Open Letters video on it. And he raised this point that which I did not see in the YouTube strike page, that you can do a there are 2 options available to a content creator on to ANI in YouTube. One is to do a copyright strike. The second is to do a copyright claim, where all the revenue from it then goes to you. Tell me about the copyright claim bit. Is that correct or is it wrong?
That only works only if the other side agrees that there is a copyright claim. So if today, if the copyright holder makes a claim on the other, so really YouTube cannot adjudicate this. In a country governed by the rule of law, it's the court that adjudicated if they are entitled to, they've got some revenues, which I am entitled to disgorge. I will disgorge in terms of a court order. It's not YouTube or ANI unilaterally deciding that you have made 10 rupees.
So it is post. It is post the strike. If they agree, then you have the option of a.
Acha, now the last intervention, and then we wrap up this segment.
नहीं, मुझे बस ये कहना है, we are entering into an age which is increasingly very worrying for me. It's not just YouTube, it's Facebook, it's Twitter. Before Elon, came in and bought it. These guys are platforms. When they start, ये कहते हैं कि हम totally unbiased हैं, इस platform पे कोई भी गाड़ी आ सकती है.
Correct.
But with increasing passage of time, they start dictating कौन सी गाड़ी आएगी, कौन सी नहीं जाएगी. It is ultimately जो आपका land है, उसके courts हैं, उनको decide करने दो. तो मैं तो यहाँ तक कहूँगा कि YouTube को भी decide नहीं करना चाहिए, Facebook को भी decide नहीं करना चाहिए. If you have a problem, let the courts handle it.
But that's what he's saying. He's saying in any
that's
case.
a larger
So
case.
that's what he's saying. In any case, YouTube and Smita or ANI cannot remove
But
something.
YouTube
it is by
does.
court.
YouTube cancels your license. YouTube cancels your video. YouTube does that all the time.
And see, that is so
demonetizes you. Does all those things.
You can't blame
One second.
ANI for it.
Yeah.
It is
I want to
YouTube.
clarify that. I want to clarify that, and that's YouTube's stated position everywhere. That if there is an uncontested strike claim on a copyrighted video, then it will be taken down. If there is a contested strike, yes, only if the other side admits and says that I have no justification. If somebody offers a justification, YouTube does not take any further action and refers the matter to court. All it does is it gives you 10 days as a copyright holder that we will keep the video down. In 10 days, you please go to court and give us evidence of having moved court. That's all.
And this is a global thing, YouTube globally, not just India, right?
But I have seen
everywhere.
YouTube demonetizing
One
videos.
second. Bolo.
Demonetizing
It's a global
ka-
thing, right?
Demonetizing and all of that is covered by various policies and various considerations that YouTube takes, which is a system that we are not privy to. All we are privy to is that when to enforce our copyright, can we take down a particular video which, in my opinion, infringes my copyright? Unilaterally, no. If the channel only goes if there are 3 uncontested strikes, where the person offers no justification and is obviously a rank pirate, his channel must go.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Thank you, Sidhant.
Thank you, Sidhant.
And we end this.
Thank you.